Welcome to this week's episode of the Tattoo Marketing Podcast. This week we have Cris Rodriguez, an absolutely phenomenal marketer who not only owns a martial arts studio down in Florida, but also owns a marketing company that works with over 400 martial arts studios in the United States. And it's amazing the similarities of what's happening in the tattoo industry and the martial arts industry as a whole and the growth that they're both seeing. On this week's episode, we talk about the loneliness of entrepreneurship or being a shop owner, starting up a shop, the importance of self-confidence, and the 7 levels of marketing. Enjoy. Cris, thank you so much for joining us. To the viewers out there, Cris is a martial arts studio owner and a marketing agency owner that works with martial arts studios. And then Cris, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and we'll go from there.
Yeah, super pumped to be here, Jess. Thanks so much for having me. Cris Rodriguez. I've been a lifelong martial artist, stepped on the dojo carpet for the first time March 15th, 1993. And I knew from that moment that martial arts was going to be a lifestyle and a career. I opened up my martial arts school back in 2012 and very quickly realized that Florida's very hot outside. And a lot of the marketing strategies of being a PE teacher for the day or flyering cards or putting out snipe signs or doing rat cards, that was really hot. So I self-taught myself digital marketing, particularly Facebook ads and Google ads. And in under 3 years, we had a $500,000 business. And I started teaching other martial arts schools how to do digital marketing. And they very quickly realized that it was a lot of work. And they said, Cris, you just taught me all this amazing stuff, but I don't want to do it. Will you do it for me? And that is where Grow Pro Agency, our digital marketing agency, was born. We started in April of 2019. First year was kind of just a side gig, side hustle. I had 1099 contractors, all remote. And then when COVID hit and everybody went remote, I went the opposite direction. I said, you know what? If I really want to do something with this, I got to have an in-person team. So I did the exact opposite of what the rest of the world did, started building our in-person team. So we've had an in-person team for about 3 years. They're all sitting out there, and there are 30 of us here in the office, currently serving 400 clients.
That's amazing. Congratulations. I didn't know you guys have grown so much in the last year and a half or so. It's an epic.
Yeah, there has been, an enormous amount of growth, and, there's obviously levels to every stage of the game. And there was a definite shift from, I want to say, the difference of our systems and processes at 200 clients to 400 clients. But what there was even more of a shift was in the difference between having 20 in-person team members to 30 in-person team members. So yeah, very fortunate to have that type of growth. I accredit it all to Josh Nelson's 7-figure agency, which is how I know you. And also accredit it to the amazing team that we've built. But if it wasn't for, Josh and 7-figure and the community, wouldn't be where we're at.
And it's one of the themes I've noticed from the most successful people that I've talked to is it's rarely a, hey, I did this 100% on my own. I had these amazing mentors. I had this amazing training, these teachers, and that's how people get to your status and above.
Yeah, I put out a reel the other day about the loneliness that occurs in the entrepreneurial world. I had read this quote that basically said, like, in order to lead, you have to walk alone. And it really resonated with me. And, the things that I've put in place to help make it feel less lonely are having the mentors and coaches, having accountability partners, making sure my inner circle is just high performing people, making sure that you enjoy the people you work with, right? Like, that's going to be very important. And then also, having a supportive family to come home to. So anybody that says they're self-made, I truly don't believe that. Somebody was there to help you at some point.
100%, 100%. And for anybody, just so you know, I have bugged Cris more times than I can count with questions about all kinds of digital marketing stuff, along with people in that group, Seven Figure Agency. So I 100% agree. So one of the things that got my wheel spinning about having you on the podcast is I was speaking with a friend at when I was at jiu-jitsu a few weeks ago, and he was saying in Boise that when he was originally got into it, he's a purple belt now, but there was only 4 to 5 gyms there. Now there are, he said, approximately 14 to 15. So it sounds like the type of growth that we're seeing in the tattoo world, like shops popping up everywhere. And with the projection of the industry to double over the next 6 to 7 years, it's only going to get worse. So it seems like you guys are seeing it on your side, and I just want to really have a conversation around that.
Yeah, the particular style of martial arts that you're talking about, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and, mixed martial arts, really got put on the map due to the UFC. And that started in the, early to mid 90s. And, technology is incredibly powerful and it's always evolving. But now that we have social media the way that it is, now that you can literally learn anything online. I tell people all the time, I have a degree. I went to the University of South Florida. I've learned more from Google, ChatGPT, and YouTube than I ever learned, at the university. So because knowledge is literally now at everybody's fingertips, it has, just sped up the ability to learn this. And the UFC has really done a great job of putting, just highlighting MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a very big part of MMA. I own a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA academy. And when I first opened back in 2012, there were just a handful of us. And now you can literally throw a rock and you're going to hit an American Top Team, which is a very popular BJJ organization. So there, are definitely more of them. However, there's not as many of them as your like traditional karate and martial arts and taekwondo, which is typically what kind of the average person thinks of, right? Like we still have parents that say like, oh, we're going to bring Johnny to karate. And I'm like, we're a jiu-jitsu school. This is not karate. And it's particularly because of the Karate Kid. I mean, that's really the movie, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san that put martial arts on the map. But the UFC and these other organizations, such as, One Fighting Championship and a lot of the now local shows that are being put on are highlighting, these martial arts much more. So we're just going to continue to see them pop up. To me, I'm not afraid of competition. And I think if you are confident in your skill set and confident in your ability to build a business, because those are two completely different things. You can be an amazing martial artist and an amazing instructor. Neither of those relate to being an amazing business owner. The same way that you could be an amazing artist, right? Or an amazing tattoo artist, that doesn't translate into being an amazing business owner. And oftentimes, I think martial arts, right, has the word art in it. There are a lot of similarities to the person that would decide to open up a martial arts school versus the person that decides to, become a tattoo artist and open up a shop, because it's a passion, right? I mean, not many people say, hey, I'm going to open this tattoo shop to become wealthy. It's the same thing. Like nobody opens up a martial arts school to become wealthy. You do it because you have a love for it. You have a passion for it. But you absolutely can turn it into an amazing business and career. But the skill set that is required to do that is very different than the skill set that is required to become an amazing artist. And to me, that's why I'm not worried when competition pops up, because I have put in the time and the reps to develop the business chops that I need, in order to just not even worry like, oh, another competitor, cool, not a problem. Like to me, that fuels me, that motivates me to continue just to get better and better.
Yeah. And to kind of echo what you said, that's exactly what we see a lot of is, amazing tattoo artists, and they own a shop, not so business savvy, have no clue about marketing. And really, as a tattoo artist, like all they want to do is still tattoo, which is 100% fine. Again, that's their passion. But if you want to continue to have some kind of success, and especially keep your employees and your other artists busy, and not just sitting there taking walk-ins, you, as all these new shops are popping up, you definitely need at least some kind of way to stand out. Again, traditionally, most tattoo shops are still like in the 90s when it comes to marketing, maybe early 2000s. So it's a lot of guerrilla, like putting flyers on cars or a radio ad, or at most boosting a post on Instagram or using smart mode in Google Ads. And you're just like, I see that and I cringe. I'm just like, this, yeah.
There's better ways.
There's so much better ways. And
I think one of the interesting things that anybody that owns a shop should think about is like, what we do is so cool. And imagine if we were a bunch of accountants, right? Like, what type of content are you going to put out if you're an accountant? Like, how boring is that? Like, here's me working on my spreadsheet. Here's me with my calculator. Like, we are so, blessed that what we do is cool to look at, right? And just, again, imagine if, we, I don't know, like owned a, just an accounting, or if you're a lawyer, like, you got to leverage the fact that what we do is really, really cool, and that there are better ways to market it. And, we are blessed for that.
So what are some of the things that you have the shop, or the I'm going to keep doing that, the gyms that you work with, what do you have them do? Because I know obviously you do their digital marketing stuff, but if I remember correctly, there's some kind of a content calendar. Because a lot of tattoo shops, like, you go to their page and it's just pictures of the tattoos, no pictures of the shop, of the artists. I was talking to a well-known artist, and he said people come up to him at conventions and meet him, and he's been talking to them for months, but he has no clue who they are, because there's literally not a single picture of who they are or what they represent.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, the guy that did my arm here, and there's two guys I've kind of worked with. I'm just kind of thinking of seeing their Instagram, and all it is just pictures of their tattoos, and it is very, very rare that you're seeing them in any photos or their workspace. So I think I've definitely seen that. In terms of what we have our schools do, and we don't use the terminology gym. I'm kind of against using gyms, because I think it puts you in the category of like a Gold's Gym, where maybe it's $20 or $30 a month. I can cancel at any time. So I think language is important. So we call them academies or schools or studios, because I think it just showcases a different level of value than, hey, we're just like your Gold, right? But there are, what we focus on are 7 levels of marketing. And really, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, this is relevant. So as we go through these 7 levels, and I think it'll be very valuable to the listeners, they start really easy, meaning like level 1, there's not a ton of effort or a large skill set or talent set that is needed in order to do it. But when you get to level 7, it's like, okay, the work ethic has to be put in. That sweat equity has to get put in. So I'll just go through those really quick. So number 1 is you got to have a presence with organic social media, right? And you've got to pick the platform that is ideal for your industry. Some industries, it makes more sense for them to spend more time on LinkedIn than it would on Instagram or Facebook, right? So I would assume shop owners probably more IG heavy. Would that be a correct assumption, right?
100%.
If you're a lawyer or a realtor, maybe like a commercial real estate investor, you're going to be on LinkedIn. That's just going to be where you're going to be spending most of your time. And I think one of the mistakes is we try to, because everybody says you got to be omnipresent, which I do agree with, but you got to get one platform down first. Just pick that platform and get that one down first, versus like 5% energy into IG, 10% into TikTok, 2%, just get one platform down. So organic social media it's not difficult. Okay. Most of us are on it. It's just, are you going to be consistent with putting it out? Right. So that's the first level of marketing. The second level of marketing is going to be your search engine optimization and where you're ranking on Google. And I think one of the biggest missteps is not spending enough time on Google business profiles. Yeah. What most business owners do is they set it up right in the beginning and they're rushing through it. Let me just put the address, let me put our hours, and they do not spend any time optimizing that Google business profile. And it's not that you definitely need to know what to optimize for, what keywords you should be utilizing. And there's a slight skill set, but it's not super difficult. It's just the consistency of the monthly management, right? Like we've got to kickstart that optimization, and then we need to manage that listing on a monthly basis. And it's always crazy to me when I look at these listings and you see a bunch of 5-star reviews and the owner didn't even take 2 seconds to thank the people that are giving them the reviews, right? So you got to have your website, in line, your search engine optimization, and your Google business profile. So that's what I would consider level 2 of marketing. Level 3 is going to be paid ads, and your SEO and your organic can get you results, but they're not going to get you super quick results. And most business owners are impatient, right? It's like, I want it today. I want it now. Well, guess what? In your business, you're always going to make a choice of, do I want to invest my time and energy, or do I want to invest my money? And if you got the money to invest, then you got to be doing paid ads. And what platform? The platform that you're spending the most time on. For us in the martial arts industry, that's going to be on Facebook and Google. And I, hear often, I think, you hear this often, that Facebook ads, there's quality issues. There are things that you can absolutely put in place to help increase the quality. However, you have to understand the type of marketing it is. Google is intent-based marketing. If I go to Google and I type in tattoo artist near me, I have an intent. I'm looking for that artist. Same thing if I type in martial arts near me. If I'm going on Facebook and I'm being served an ad, it's because I fell into an audience that business believes I might have an interest in. It's interest-based marketing. So what I'm doing there is I'm planting the seed. And now there's a bunch of things on the back end that has to continue to happen, such as follow-up, such as nurture sequences, such as, offers being put out in order to turn that, what I would consider future buyer, into a today buyer. So that's, the level 3 of paid ads. And if you want to get there quick, you got to put your money where your mouth is. That's just it, right? Level 4 is going to be your email and text message. And look, you didn't open a shop because you wanted to be a content writer and blast out a bunch of emails. I get it. But email marketing is not dead. And email marketing is how you stay in your prospect's mental Rolodex. So maybe they served you the ad, they opted in, but I was thinking about getting a tattoo, but I'm kind of scared. I'm not ready yet. Well, how do you stay at the forefront of their mind? You get in their inbox. And this way, when they are ready, you're the one that they're going to choose because you've been in their mental Rolodex. They've been seeing you in the inbox. So even if they don't open your email, it's okay because they saw your name, right? And pairing that with text message marketing, making sure that you're obviously staying compliant. Nobody wants to get blown up text after text after text. But when you do have a good reason to reach out, leveraging that list. So that's level number 4. Level number 5 is going to be your print marketing. And, this is going to be like, you can go old school tactics. You could do, every door direct mailers. That's popular in my industry. This is rat cards going into other businesses. This is little snipe signs on the side of the road. This is literally just making sure you have some form of sign outside of your shop or your martial arts school. Maybe you got some feather flags out there, right? And I think oftentimes in the martial arts industry, print marketing just kind of gets put to the side because we're all so bombarded with digital marketing. But if everybody's going to the right, maybe you should go to the left, right? And try that out. And we really like to leverage every door direct mailers during specific seasons, like the seasons that we know, like going into summer, coming out of summer, going to the new year. Those are the 3 times we have to go pedal to the metal in our industry. So that's where we're going to stack some more of these levels on top of each other. I know I'm going through this fast. Is this helpful? You want me to finish? Go all the way to 7?
Let's go all the way to 7.
Okay, cool. Number 6, pick up the phone and call. You got to pick up the phone and call. And Chris, nobody picks up the phone. That's such a wrong blanket statement. People do pick up the phone. Some people do prefer to text. Some people prefer to email. That's why you got to hit all of these different levels of marketing, right? One of the things that I think is really important and can build somebody's confidence to pick up the phone is to have a framework of what you're going to say. Like if you know, okay, these are the 4 things that I need to hit in this conversation, you're going to be more confident and more willing to pick up that phone and call. So we have a framework that we teach our clients. And I mean, it really works for every industry. Number 1, the reason why I'm calling. Like, hey, this is the reason why I'm calling. 2, I'm going to paint the picture of why whatever I'm trying to pitch is so great, right? I'm going to kind of sell that vacation. Number 3, I'm going to put some urgency on it, right? Look, I just had a spot open up this Saturday at 2 p.m. This never happens, right? Put some urgency, put some scarcity on it. And then step number 4, close it. Okay. So having some form of framework to pick up the phone and call can really help to build somebody's confidence in doing that. And step number 7, which is the most powerful level of marketing, but it's the one that requires the most sweat equity, is face-to-face marketing. If I can get in front of my potential prospect, I'm going to be able to build much more rapport with them, right? So if for us, it's back to school season right now. This is a huge, season in our industry. We got to get to meet the teachers. We've got to get to the open houses. And if we can set up a booth inside of the school and have that face-to-face with the parents and the kids, that's going to be a much hotter lead than, a lead that came in through a Facebook ad or saw our organic post. So those are kind of, the 7 levels of marketing in terms of, like outreach. Obviously there's other levels, like, we've got referral marketing that we could talk about, but those are what I would consider having lines out in the ocean. And if we go fishing and I've got 7 lines out in the ocean and you've got 1, I just have a better chance of catching more fish than you do. And you got to be careful not putting all your eggs in one basket. COVID showed us that. If you only had one form of marketing, which was word of mouth or referral marketing, that went out the door during COVID. So I'm not a huge fan of only having one channel. I'd rather have multiple lines out in the ocean.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I usually say the same thing. And my reference is, hey, remember iOS 14 when it killed everybody's Facebook ads? And that was brutal. And for the shop owners listening, hitting that 7th level, there's over 500 conventions in the US every month. I mean, this is so easy to do. And since nobody else is really doing it, it's wide open for pretty much anybody. Like I said, the biggest thing we see are smart ads, which don't work well on Google, and boosted posts. But Chris, like you were saying, I mean, if you're okay with spending $200 or so a month on just building a local audience using Instagram or Facebook, like in a year, that's going to pay you back 10 times.
100%. Absolutely.
Awesome. Chris, I really appreciate it. We will talk again right now.
All right. Peace.